life-changing contracts.
And that's enough. What a fight. The pursuit of $1 million championship is still alive for you.
Who will survive? An MMA reality competition unlike any other.
So much is on the line.
Literally anything could happen.
That's a TKO victory. Unbelievable.
This is the PFL Challenger Series on Fubo TV.
The PFL on Fubo TV is brought to you by Next Level Hydrogen Water, the official water of the PFL. Columbia Care, the official CBD partner of the PFL. CarParts.com. Get the right parts right now at CarParts.com. And by Redcon One, America's favorite supplement. Welcome in, fight fans, to Week 5 of PFL Challenger Series action. Tonight, the lightweights take center stage on Fubo TV. We are moments away from action. Bruno Miranda's getting ready. His opponent, Carson Fry, getting the gloves worked. Damir Farahbegovic comes here representing Bosnia and Herzegovina. And BJ Bland came all the way from New Zealand. A little more on that. We'll tell you that story throughout the night. So what's this all about? Well, it's about earning a PFL contract. How do you do it? 4 fights, which means 4 winners. All 4 are eligible for a contract, and the PFL narrows that down to 2 finalists. Our celebrity panel will weigh in. You, the fans, get to vote and help determine who wins a PFL contract, and that winner appears in the PFL regular season. Sean O'Connell and Kenny Florian cage side once again. And Kenny, I know you're excited about the lightweights, and for good reason. 155-pounders, this division has produced some of the all-time greats in this sport. Incredibly deep, incredibly well-rounded skill sets. What do you expect to see tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited. You know, for these guys, not only do they need to win, that's just half the battle, they also need to set their goals very high. They need to believe that they can win that $1 million. They need to believe they can be a world champion, and they can be inspired for real, because in 2021, Haush Manfio, an alternate, was able to win it all. So, pretty good example there.
Yeah, Haush Manfio came in as a newcomer and won the whole thing. And when you win a PFL championship, you get $1 million check to go along with it. So win a contract, become a millionaire. That's the dream for everybody on the card tonight. Julie Stewart-Binks has her own dream. What do you got, Julie?
Well, we don't have time to get into that, but my dream right now, of course, is to be here for another week of the PFL Challenger Series, and to be here specifically with the celebrity panel and welcome back in some huge names, of course. UFC Hall of Famer, the natural Randy Couture.
Love the lightweights. You take everything we had last week with the featherweights and you turn the power knob up just a couple notches. These guys are going to get after it, well-rounded, endurance, speed, and horsepower. It's going to be a heck of a night.
Now, speaking of dreams, we wanted to welcome in Randy Couture to the illustrious Mount Rushmore of mustaches. You see here, Tom Selleck, of course, one of the greatest. Sam Elliott, what a duster on him. And, you know, Brad Pitt not on Mount Rushmore. You're way better than Brad Pitt. That is a huge statement. I would put that in my Twitter bio if I were you.
Well, thank you.
And if this TV thing doesn't work out, you can certainly get a job as a bartender in Brooklyn who suggests the local rye. All right, I think Randy is going to take me into the cage after some of those comments, but let's bring in another celebrity panelist for the first time here tonight. I'm excited to welcome in 3-time Olympian who is part of another illustrious club, being a summer and winter Olympian, Lolo Jones.
I'm so excited to be here in what is essentially the fighters' Olympic trials. We know as Olympians, if you make that team, it is life-changing. And this is potentially life-changing for them, but only one can survive the night.
Back here in studio, we have the original Phenom MMA legend, Vitor Belfort.
I've been in this position before. Was the birth of my career. And tonight, we're going to see the birth of the Phenom of PFL. Because the power is in the hands of these fighters, and I believe they're gonna bring it.
The power is in the hands of their destiny. 8 fighters, 1 contract on the line. Sean, we'll have to see if they can live up to the expectations.
Let's take a look at the 4 fights that'll be contested tonight and the odds that go along with them. Oh, a little question mark has developed in our Damir Berhabegovic versus BJ Bland fight, but Yanal Ashmouz opens the night as a big-time favorite. Bruno Miranda will finish the night as a big-time favorite. And look, I get it. It's hard to bet fights like these because they're prospects. You probably don't know as much about these individuals as you do about fighters on main cards. Well, guess what? We have a betting expert who does all the homework for you. Follow along, because if you do, you'll increase your money. In fact, so far this season, Ian Parker has added 251% value to everybody's purses. Woo!
Not bad.
That is good stuff from the Duck. Let's keep it rolling, Ian Parker.
Yes, sir. All right, for the first fight of the night, we got Yanal Ashmouz against Dennis Hughes. We are going to lock him in as the first leg of our parlay at -330. The odds are just a little too high to lay it on straight. We're going to pair him up with Bruno Miranda. We're going to lock that in at -200. Parlay it together. 100 gets you 95. Hey, it's better than risking a lot less. I like that play. 2 favorites. Maximize the value. Let's get that first parlay, Sean.
All right, I like it. Parker's parlay has been good money, I think, in all but one of our PFL Challenger Series weeks. Look, if you don't want to put actual financial skin in the game, there's a way that you can play for free because of our friends at Fubo TV's FanView. Answer live questions, score points, and you could walk away from tonight with $1,000. In fact, our first question is already live. Will any fight on the card end in a submission? In fact, let's go back to Ian Parker for that. Ian, will we see a submission on the card tonight?
Sean, this is the PFL. Finishes are everything. It really sets you apart from everybody else. So my answer to that question is going to be yes, and I'm going to take it a step further. I think it's either going to be from Yanal Ashmouz or from Bruno Miranda to get the sub.
Oh, okay. All right, getting specific with it. By the way, as a fan, you should be paying close attention because at the end of the night, you actually have a say in who earns a life-changing PFL contract. Participate in the Bud Light fan vote by casting your vote on Fubo TV's FanView, or just go to Twitter at PFL MMA and cast your vote. Once we get there, but of course we have to shake it out and get these fights rolling. Yanal Ashmouz out of Israel, Dennis Hughes from the United States. This will open the night. Are fought right to you by the United States Marine Corps. 3 5-minute rounds of lightweight action. Julie Stewart-Banks, without further ado, let's get them going.
On PFL Challenger Series, we give fighters a chance to introduce themselves. Let's meet our first fighter.
Fighting out of Wiggins, Mississippi with a record of 7-3, 3 knockouts, 3 submissions, Dennis Hughes Jr.
Dennis said he's very close with his family, saying his wife is his biggest motivator. His brother Ethan is also a fighter. He works with his father at a plywood mill, and he drives 2 hours from Mississippi to Louisiana to train. Now that's some dedication.
Fighting out from Fairfield, New Jersey with record of 5-0 with 3 knockouts, Yanal the Red Fox Ashmouz.
Yanal Ashmouz is looking to become the first fighter in PFL to represent Israel. He speaks 5 languages, and he's been watching the Challenger Series, and he knows he needs a finish or a dogfight to earn a contract, saying that's how it should be.
All right, there is Yanal Ashmouz, the Red Fox, climbing into the cage. Here's our tale of the tape, presented by the United States Marine Corps. Yanal Ashmouz, 3 years older. He is also 2 inches shorter. And Dennis Hughes, a sizable reach advantage in both the arms and the legs. Here's how you win a contract. First, win your fight. That makes you eligible for the contract. The PFL will narrow down the 2 top performers to be finalists. Then the celebrities weigh in, the fans weigh in, and the winner appears in the 2022 season for Professional Fighters League. There's Larry Folsom. He will oversee the action in our first fight of the night. An undefeated Yanal Ashmouz in the black trunks.
You ready?
Dennis Hughes in the gray. touch of the gloves, and we are underway here for PFL Challenger Series Week 5. Little leaping switch kick there from Yanal Ashmouz, Kenny.
Yeah, this one should be fun. Both guys very scrappy, very aggressive. Ashmouz has some very dangerous hooks in tight. Got to watch for that.
Step through left hand there from Hughes. Ashmouz doesn't mind taking punches, as he told us in his little profile. He likes to punch, he likes to get punched. The whole fight game's fun for him.
He has the right job. That's good. Hughes, I think, trying to bring it into his strength. This is a smart strategy for him. Likes to take the fight to the ground. That's where he's most dangerous.
He's able to drag Ashmouz down and then continue to chain the wrestling as Ashmouz tries to escape. Nice work here in the early goings from Dennis Hughes to dictate where this fight happens. Randy Couture, you know a little bit about this style of fighting. What's Dennis Hughes trying to accomplish here?
Well, I think Dennis is doing a great job of second and third efforts, changing directions, not just driving forward, but pulling back and changing the angle a little bit, and that's going to make it difficult for Ashmouz to stay on his feet.
Do not grab the cake, no.
Vitor, if you're Yanal Ashmouz, how do you get yourself out of this position and get back to throwing some punches?
He has to fight. He has to stand up and get off the cage. He has to start turning, pummeling. He's losing the battle with the hands, and as you can see, yeah, so.
Nice little inside trip there, and Yanal Ashmouz is able to land on top. He's inside the guard of Dennis Hughes now.
Yeah, Ashmouz trains with a lot of very good wrestlers in Fairfield, New Jersey at K-Dojo. K-Dojo actually believe the first gym that Khabib Nurmagomedov visited when he came to the United States, but they have a lot of Russian-based wrestlers at that gym.
Lolo Jones, in the early goings here, we've seen a little bit of everything on display. Impressed so far?
Oh!
Yeah, I love how, oh, nice. I love how Yanal has changed the tide. You know, he was taken down a few times, but he used that fence to really get his momentum back up. And it's not how many times you go down, it's how many times you can get back up. And he's using it.
And now the heavy ground and pound coming from the top here. Impressive here, Kenny Florian. He's landing a lot of these heavy shots from the top position.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not about how many punches you're throwing, it's what's connecting. And he's been very accurate with his ground and pound so far. He's making every single one of them count. And Dennis Hughes can be pretty dangerous off of his back, but right now Ashmouz has superior positioning and just staying active with his ground and pound. He's not allowing Dennis Hughes into this fight on the ground.
Front headlock position here for Ashmouz. Dennis Hughes, to Kenny's point, 3 of his 7 career victories have come via submission, so you can't sleep on his groundwork. Knee up the middle from Ashmouz. More wrestling.
Ashmouz had that superior positioning, had very good double underhooks there. Able to control the hips of Dennis Hughes and landing some good knees and short shots in tight.
Work with the right hand here from Yanal Ashmouz. Our first Israeli fighter in PFL action.
Ashmouz is not a great jiu-jitsu practitioner, but he's a great grappler.
Nice switch out there for Ashmouz, but a good right hand from Hughes. High kick glances off the guard. Hughes continues to come forward.
And Dennis Hughes just has to be careful to not duck down too much, otherwise he's going to get hit with a big uppercut or knee. Both these guys have definitely started out with a pretty high pace, though.
And they'll finish against the cage. Round one in the books. Very interesting first frame in our opening bout of the evening.
You cannot grab the cage again.
Here's Dennis Hughes up against the cage, looking for that takedown, was able to get it for a quick moment. See Ashmus countering very well, able to get on top. And then, for me, this was the most impressive part of the fight, was the ground and pound of Ashmus, landing some very good, accurate shots from that top position. Nice right hand, and again, those hooks, really got to watch out for those.
Kenny, I got an interesting history lesson when we had our interviews with Yanal Ashmus. I asked him, how, coming from Israel, how'd you choose one particular gym in the United States? He says, well, I'm Circassian. And so I came to a gym that had a Circassian coach in person. And then I had to look up the history of the Circassian people, a Russian ethnic minority that experienced the diaspora. Really interesting stuff. He told us they're fighters. Absolutely true if you study the history as we begin round number two. Ooh, wheel kick there from Yanal Ashmus. Holding as a favorite here in the second round. I'm curious, Ian Parker, after that first frame, this is the first leg of your parlay. Ashmus hits another inside trip. You feeling good about the pick?
I am now. Now that he ended up in top position, you know, this is where he should have been earlier on. I don't really love when he stands there in the pocket and trades. There's no need for it. When he's able to really establish a nice dominant ground game, as long as he keeps running it down, he's just got to watch out for where his right leg is. I don't love that position, but if he now he's doing the right thing, putting the head against the cage. If he keeps it here, I think he still needs to get a finish in order to be considered later on. But right now, this round, this is where he needs to be.
Hughes tries to scoop under the leg there again. You got to be careful with these long-limbed, long-legged guys when you're in their guard, Kenny.
Yeah, that's right. You got to make sure your leg frames are very firmly secured if you're going to try to scoop a leg, because that leaves an opening for them to hit you right in the head, and that's exactly what Ashmus is doing.
More punishment from the top position for Yanal Ashmus. Randy, how do you like the ground and pound?
A great job. He's shown some great high-level wrestling, the inside trip, the double underhook, twisting body lock, his ability to change the circumstance and put this guy on bottom when that guy was in deep. Dennis Hughes was in deep. So he's done a great job. So some high-level wrestling, and the ground and pound is beautiful.
Yeah, Ashmus is very powerful, and he has something that is so grind. He's grinding his opponent, and he's not be able to find the jiu-jitsu. And now he's on the bottom, so, but I see a lot of advantage of him.
He was able to turn the tide momentarily. Ashmus scrambles back to his feet. And Kenny, something tells me it's going to take a lot to get Dennis Hughes out of there. When he told us what he does for a living, man is working a very physical job every day. Then he drives 2 hours to Louisiana to train from his hometown, a small place in Mississippi.
Oh, he's a tough dude, there's no question about it. And really, he does not stop working, and he hasn't stopped working in this fight. Tried to jump onto the back of Ashmus about a minute ago, and still staying aggressive, but he's gonna have to find a way to be more effective. And in order for him to do that, he really needs to get top position here against Ashmus. And it's particularly difficult, Sean, sorry, to hit a submission when you're up against the cage like that.
You took the thoughts right out of my head, Kenny. Even guys who are really good on their back don't like to be overly crowded up against the cage. Takes away some of the angles that you might need to set up submissions. And Yanal Ashmus knows that.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a much better position for him as his head away from the cage. But again, he's tying up that leg, but that allows Ashmus to land some ground and pound there. Looks like Ashmus looking to tie him up with a cradle type position. Now going back to some ground and pound with that left hook.
Into side control goes Yanal Ashmouz. 1 minute remaining in the second round of this lightweight bout. The first of 4. One contract given out at the end of the night, and the dream is win the contract, become a millionaire.
Yeah, now this is a much better position, or was a much better position for Ashmouz, but Dennis Hughes doing a good job of getting back to his guard.
Throwing up the legs, trying to threaten a triangle or some sort of attack, but Ashmouz pours down the punishment, left and right hands, switches to a hammer fist.
Yeah, Ashmouz has gravity on his side. He's got good positioning so far with his head, so it's allowing him to land some good shots from this top position.
Ten seconds remain in round number 2. Yanal Ashmouz pounds away. Hughes throwing some strikes from the bottom as well, and we will see a third round. Back to the corners they go. What kind of advice are you giving to Dennis Hughes here, Kenny?
Well, for Dennis Hughes, you know, he was looking for the ability to take this fight to the ground, but he does not want to be on his back because Ashmouz is turning it into a boxing match on the ground. So if you're on top, you're going to win that type of boxing fight. But here you see Ashmouz gets that top position, kind of worked for a cradle there, landed some good knees to the legs and body of Dennis Hughes. Got side control there. Dennis Hughes able to get back to guard, but again, this is a boxing fight that Ashmouz will take every single time when he has top position here. Got gravity on his side. He's keeping good positioning here with his head and landing a lot of shots, a lot of powerful shots at that.
Let's go.
Yanal Ashmouz, 5-0, 3 finishes, 3 knockouts, 2 submissions. He has finished 2 fights previously in his short career in the third round.
Ready, go.
One final 5-minute frame here. Yanal Ashmouz, the Red Fox out of Israel, and Dennis Hughes, the boy from Mississippi, trying to earn not only a win, but impress the celebrity panel and you, the fans, and get a PFL contract.
Ashmouz doing a good job of getting those underhooks, landing some good knees to the body there.
Nice left hand there from Hughes. Good movement. And now they're fighting in a phone booth.
Yeah, and that's the kind of fight that Ashmouz loves. He loves those short hooks in tight.
Well, Hughes, as we saw in the tail of the tape, he's got, I think, a 5-inch reach advantage. If he can stay out at range and set up some of these straight, long punches, could potentially turn the tide in the striking battle here. But Yanal Ashmouz going to work on the legs.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised Dennis Hughes didn't take that approach of trying to land those strikes from the outside. That's where he would have the biggest advantage, in my opinion.
High kick goes up and over the duck of Yanal Ashmouz, who lands a right hand. Body kick and return. Nice slip and rip on the ducking underneath.
Oh!
And a knee from Dennis Hughes. Ashmouz crowds in, and a nice right hand. Here we go.
Yeah, things are heating up for sure. Nice head kick there by Ashmouz.
A stiff jab from Hughes.
Yeah, this is looking like a Muay Thai fight right now. Both guys just trading.
I'll tell you what, Kenny, I'm actually pretty impressed here because I think that Yanal Ashmouz probably feels he's ahead on the scorecards, but he's electing to stay standing and fight for a finish here. He knows he's got to not just win, but win in impressive fashion if he wants to earn a contract at the end of the night.
Yeah, no question about it. He's going for it here. He's looking for a takedown now.
Yeah, just as I say that, he decides he's going to wrestle.
Well, Dennis Hughes was definitely finding some good success on the feet. Hughes tried to take the back there and unable to do it. Ashmouz counters well.
round 3 halfway gone. Randy Couture, I mean, we've got 3 more fights tonight, but so far, what do you see?
Just fighting that guy in the cage tonight. You were fighting all the guys that are fighting here tonight to distinguish yourself and be the guy that gets the nod and gets that contract and a shot in the regular season for the PFL. Yashmuz, both these guys, Hughes also, both well-rounded in their specific areas. We've seen Yashmuz dominate a lot of this fight from start to finish, but is that enough tonight to distinguish himself from the other guys?
Well, that's the question, Vitor Belfort. Is it enough, what you've seen from Yanal Yashmuz, who may just finish this fight in the top position?
Yeah, we can tell, we can be sincere, that's not enough to win the chance to get the contract. So you have to be aggressive. You can tell he's a very good talent, but he has a lot to improve, you know, in the jiu-jitsu game. He's a great wrestler, but, you know, even in striking, he has to work his feints. And I think we're going to see better fights.
Lolo Jones, Hughes not out of this thing yet as he tries to set up a choke or a submission from the bottom. What do you think of these two?
I mean, I'm just really impressed by Yanal's output because 190 strikes, that's insane. He understands the assignment, and the assignment is not just to win the fight. The fight needs to be impressive. He basically needs to be the Usain Bolt of the Olympic Games, and I think he knows that.
Little blood in the right eye of Yanal Yashmuz, Kenny Florian. Hughes is at least making his opponent feel it if he's going to earn a win here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's scrappy. He's not just handing it over to Yashmuz. He's working to try to get back to his knees here, trying to get in that turtle position, maybe attacking a leg lock, see if he rolls into it. Not quite able to do it. Trying to elevate Yashmuz with a very good base, though.
30 seconds remain in the first bout of the evening. 2 of our 8 fighters hoping for a contract in the PFL at the end of the night. You, the fans, get to help decide. And now a last-second heel hook attempt here from Hughes. Yashmuz is able to negate that and set up his own shoulder choke try.
Wow.
The final bell sounds. Yanal Yashmuz finishes on top. Good display of sportsmanship there. The Red Fox feels like he's done enough. We'll see what the judges think when we return on Fubo TV.
The 3 things you never talk about: Messi, Ronaldo, and politics.
When you see an NBA player go at somebody, like sometimes you just want to tell somebody to f off.
And you walked on there and you had death eyes. That's why it was uncomfortable. Like you were looking like, I'm ready to bring it. And I was like, so welcome to the show.
Get your Popcorn Ready podcast. It's on fire right now. If the Bucks can do it, yeah, they can.
I can't shoot threes. I choose not to shoot threes. It's a difference.
I don't care what team I'm on, who you put me on the court with. As long as I'm on that court, I know we got.
What happens when you take spring water, infuse it with hydrogen, and add a proprietary blend of colloidal